Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Bass Ramos here, and today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Chargers losing to the Miami Dolphins. Yes, that is five straight for the Miami Dolphins to help improve their record to 6-3, and drop the Chargers to 2-7. And the game was pretty much won by the Dolphins. I wouldn't say won, but they were in control from the very beginning, forcing the Chargers to a 3-and-out, and then on the fourth down on the punt we forced a blocked punt, which was mostly due to a kind of muff snap. The punter didn't have control of the ball too much, and then leading to a block by Andrew Van Ginkel. We're going to talk more about that later. First, we're going to jump into some of the team stats. The Chargers had 273 yards of offense to Miami's 280. Turnovers was one for each team. I'll talk about that later. Time of possession, 29 minutes for the Chargers and 54 seconds. Dolphins, 30 minutes, 6 seconds. First downs, Chargers had 19, Dolphins had 17. And then when we look at the box score. Now, this game, pretty good. Pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Wasn't as close from after the first two Dolphin drives. It wasn't very close. So the Dolphins were up 14-0 at the beginning of the game. And then, it was pretty much a done deal after that. But, the Dolphins still had to continue to, score some points and put some pressure on the Chargers to make sure that they wouldn't win this game. So, with that being said, let's talk about some of the stats. So we have Justin Herbert went for 20 for 32, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 2 sacks for a loss of 13 yards. Then we have Tua Tagovailoa went 15 for 25, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Pretty good game by Tua. He had the better game in essence compared to Herbert. Herbert had more throws because they were playing from behind. So, you guys remember the guy who was running back for the Dolphins, even coming into this training camp? Kalen Balaj? Yeah, he's on the Chargers now. He was their lead back today. Obviously, they have no Austin Eckler and just a bunch of injuries. And the running back position is really setting back the Chargers, at least in that area. But Kalen Balaj was their leading back today. He had 18 carries for 68 yards. Joshua Kelly was next with 7 carries, 21 yards. Justin Herbert had 4 carries, 10 yards, and a touchdown. And then when we look at the Miami Dolphins, we have Suvan Ahmed had 21 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Patrick Laird had 2 carries for 19 yards. Malcolm Perry had 1 carry for 6 yards. DeAndre Washington had 2 carries for 2 yards. And Tua had 6 carries for 1 yard. Not even 1 yard, minus 1 yard. Oh, man. But it is what it is. So, next we have the receivers, people who caught the balls. Keenan Allen had 3 receptions for 39 yards and a touchdown. Mike Williams, 2 receptions, 38 yards. Kalen Balaj, 5 receptions, 34 yards. Hunter Henry had 4 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Guyton had 4 receptions, 24 yards. Donald Farham, I'm pretty sure I said his name right, Jr., 1 reception, 13 yards. Gabe Nabbers had 1 reception, 9 yards. And then for the Dolphins, Jakeem Grant was our leading receiver today. 4 receptions, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Gesicki had 2 receptions, 40 yards. Devontae Parker had 2 receptions, 31 yards. Malcolm Perry, 2 receptions, 21 yards. Adam Shaheen had 1 reception, 19 yards. Durham Smythe had 2 receptions for 9 yards and a touchdown. Savant Ahmed had 1 reception for 5 yards, and Mac Hollins had 1 reception for a yard. Fumbles. Nick Vigil recovered a fumble. So we had 2 fumbles from Ted Karras because he had 2 bad snaps. One was recovered by Tua that he later threw for a first down to Devontae Parker with lots of pressure coming his way. And then the other one was in the red zone. I believe it was on the same. Yeah, it was on the same drive, and just he wasn't handling the snaps well. It literally didn't even get past the ground. Like it just went straight back and hit to his foot. It started bouncing along the offensive line and everyone's feet in the kind of the red zone area, really close to the end zone, and ended up becoming like a big fumble that went back like almost like 30 yards, and then. They finally recovered it, and then Tua was the guy who brought down Nick Vigil. So, unfortunate in that sense. Now, I'm not gonna go too crazy into the defensive stats. Just gonna highlight some big plays. Nasir Adderley had 8 total tackles, 8 solo. Kazir White had 6 total, 3 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Michael Davis had a tackle for a loss, 2 pass deflections. Let's see what else we got here. Justin Jones had 1 tackle for a loss, and then Tavon Campbell had 1 QB hit. So that was about it for the Chargers. Now we look at the Dolphins. They have a lot more people who contributed to the stat sheet here. But Raekwon Davis was the Dolphins' leading tackler with 7 total tackles, 4 solo. Landon Roberts had 7 total as well, but 1 solo. Eric Rose, 6 total, 4 solo. He had 2 QB hits. Also, Calvin Noy had a QB hit. Shaq Lawson had 2 QB hits. Zach Sealer had 2 tackles for a loss. He had a big one on Cam Lodge, which was crazy. Andrew Van Ginkel had a QB hit. So did Nick Needham. Nick Needham had a sack, a tackle for a loss, pass deflection, and a QB hit. So that was a good game from him. Baron Jones had a pass deflection. Xavier Howard had 2 pass deflections. Emmanuel Ogba had 2 pass deflections, QB hit, and a sack. Jason Stowbridge and Benito Jones both had tackle for losses. And that was about it defensively. Obviously, we had Xavier Howard take interception and return it for 28 yards, so not that bad. And that set up pretty much the game leader, the game securing. I believe that was a touchdown that came after that. But anyways, kick returns. Dolphins had no kick returns, but the Chargers had Joe Reed return 4 for 80 yards. And then no punt returns for the Chargers, but Jakeem Grant returned 3 punts for the Dolphins for 57 yards. Michael Badgley had 3 extra points, and that was all the kicking he did today. Former graduate. I don't know if I'm pretty sure he's a graduate. Anyways, Jason Sanders, 3 for 4 field goals and 2 for 2 extra points. Yes, he finally missed one of these field goals. Unfortunate, went a little bit wide right, very there at the very end there. It's uncharacteristic of him, especially this season. He hasn't missed up until this point. But then the following kick, he follows it up. That was even further with one right down the middle. So, Jason Sanders is not going to miss too many going down the line. And hopefully that's one of the only kickers he misses. Kicks he misses. Anyways, punting. Ty Long had 4 punts for 171 yards. 1 was in the 20, and the longest was 57 yards. Matt Hack had 2 punts for 104 yards. 1 was in the 20, and the longest was 62 yards. And with all that being said, those are all the stats. And if I want to talk about standings, I recorded the video earlier, and then some audio feedback, which I know has been happening in my videos lately. I apologize for that. But I think I got it fixed. You let me know in the comments below if it's still being like that. But the Bills lost today. It was a crazy game. They almost won. I don't know how they didn't win, but they ended up losing to the Arizona Cardinals. I didn't see the plays happen, but I saw the score changing. So they were down 23 to 29, right? And then they scored a touchdown, 30 to 29. They're winning by 1 point. And then somehow Arizona goes up down the field and gets a field goal, which is crazy, honestly. Actually, no. DeAndre Hopkins had a last-second touchdown. He was triple covered. Oh, my God. Thank God you did that this week and not last week, because holy shot. Good job by Arizona Cardinals. And, it was close. I'm not saying I wasn't expecting them to win, but, they were, having a good game, and then they let up the lead, and then they came back and won. So that was good by the Cardinals. Dolphins, though, are now still in second, but 6-3 behind the Buffalo Bills 7-3. So things keep on going, as in the sense of both teams win on the same week or both teams lose on the same week, or our records are similar towards the end of the year. We could win the division as long as we have a better divisional record than the Bills, which is unlikely at this point because they have beat the Jets, Dolphins, and the Patriots. So they're 3-0. We're 1-2 against the division. So we need to make sure we win these next upcoming division games. So speaking of the next divisional game, it's not going to be for a while. It's going to be against the Jets, though. which is going to be not too interesting. So next week we have the Broncos. Following week we have the Jets. Then we play the Patriots in Miami, and then both the Jets and the Bills game are on the road, which I'm not too crazy concerned about, especially this year with not too many fans allowed at games, and some teams don't even have fans at games. But that being said, this division is shaping up to be very competitive between us and the Bills, and I'd love to see where it goes from here. But besides that, Dolphins get a big win, and we'll hopefully continue to build on this. We have 5 straight wins right now, which is pretty amazing. And I'm pretty happy to see the Dolphins continue their success. Obviously, a lot of defensive-led plays that are helping this team win. And Tua's coming, he's playing his game, and he's doing pretty good. So I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from the Dolphins, and I hope that it continues because I want to see this team do well, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a nice thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the post notification bell if you haven't done it yet. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram @ByAustinRamos. And lastly, fins up, baby.